Tonight on Q2, Minnesota lawmakers shot in what is being called a targeted attack. This as protesters here in Montana and across the nation make their voices heard.
Everybody has a right to their own opinion, and I'm never going to fault somebody for having their own opinion.
How do we keep going forward if we can't come together?
How people from both sides feel the current administration is doing and honoring the fallen. 3 names are added to the Montana State Firefighters Memorial. The MTN 530 News starts right now.
From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN 530 News.
Good evening and thanks for joining us on this Saturday. I'm Hailey Monaco. We begin tonight with national news. A manhunt is underway in Minnesota after 2 state lawmakers and their spouses were shot early this morning. State Representative Melissa Hortman and her husband were killed, while Senator John Hoffman and his wife were shot multiple times. Police were searching for the gunman, who say posed as a police officer. Scripps' Charles Benson reports.
We are on the scene of one of the 2 shootings just outside of Minneapolis. You can see behind me the yellow tape is still up in this neighborhood as police continue their manhunt for the person they believe is behind this targeted attack on 2 Minnesota state lawmakers and their spouses. Police are urging residents to stay vigilant. Chilling words from a distraught Governor Tim Walz describing the violent attack.
My good friend and colleague, Speaker Melissa Hortman, and her husband Mark were shot and killed early this morning in what appears to be a politically motivated assassination.
Politics is a team sport.
State Representative Melissa Hortman, along with her husband Mark, were gunned down inside their suburban Minneapolis home by a man law enforcement say was impersonating an officer. Authorities have released this photo of the alleged suspect, 57-year-old Vance Bolter. Also shot multiple times in their own home was State Senator John Hoffman and his wife Yvette. Both are alive after surgery. Investigators have not said why they believe both lawmakers were targeted, but they did find a manifesto.
When we did a search of the vehicle, there wasn't a manifesto that identified many lawmakers and other officials. We immediately made alerts to the state who took action on alerting them and providing security where necessary. And that's about, I'll stop there.
Police encountered the shooter and exchanged gunfire when they went to check on Hortman's house after the first shooting, but he was able to get away.
We believe confidently the suspect had fled out the back of the house after being confronted by the police. Very briefly after the officers had exchanged gunfire in the...
Governor Walz called the target attack an unspeakable tragedy as he shared memories of his friend, State Representative Melissa Hortman.
She was a formidable public servant, a fixture and a giant in Minnesota. She woke up every day determined to make this state a better place.
Senator Hoffman and his wife remain in stable condition. Police have yet to identify any possible motive here between the 2 state lawmakers and the alleged shooter. In Brooklyn Park, Charles Benson, Scripps News Group.
The shootings happened on the same day as a military parade in the nation's capital. The parade started in Washington, D.C. at 4:30 our time. It's to mark the U.S. Army's 250th anniversary, but today is also President Trump's 79th birthday. Thousands of military personnel, vehicles, and aircraft will march or fly over D.C. The parade is expected to last 90 minutes. But the military parade is not the only national event drawing crowds. Thousands of people are marching in rallies across the country today, expressing their disapproval of the Trump administration. Take a look at this video. Nearly 2,000 demonstrations of varying sizes across the country coincide with that military parade. Many are taking place under the theme "No Kings," asserting that no individual is above the law. And right here in Billings, 2 opposing groups, protesters and Trump supporters, came face to face. But instead of focusing on what divides them, our Marcus Kakova set out to see what might happen if they talked, not to win, but to understand. He shows us what's possible when people choose to listen rather than raise their voices.
A bill that would have made
downtown Billings covered curb to curb in flags, shirts, signs, statements. Today, Everything means something to someone.
No King's Day, June 14th, Flag Day. We just want to celebrate democracy.
It's all part of a bigger picture. Nearly 2,000 cities across the country hosting No Kings protests against President Donald Trump. People like Valerie Trout are protesting.
I feel like we're being dehumanized. A lot of people are being dehumanized if they're not a very specific gender or color.
But if you look closely through the sea of slogans,
Let's go make our voices heard.
you'll find a different point of view. This is Alicia Splitstone.
I'm out here with my mom. We're out here just supporting ICE, backing the blue, remembering that America is great and Trump's on his way to making America great again.
Two seemingly very different people. But sometimes difference is only surface level. Sometimes it's all we see because it's all we're looking for.
I'm a single mom. I have children. I worry for my sons. I worry for my daughter. I worry for my friends' families.
I have friends and family that are on both sides of it, and I have friends that have already moved away. I've had friends that are scared to speak out.
And on this street, all that was between them, a few feet of asphalt. So I asked,
will you meet with them?
Okay. I would always meet with somebody.
Absolutely. As long as it's not a volatile conversation, I am all about peaceful communication.
It was a little awkward, but maybe that's what it takes. Not easy, not clean, but human.
We're never going to get anywhere by just screaming at each other.
There needs to be compromises on both sides.
One thing is certain, no one's coming to save us from ourselves. It's up to us to either pull together or drift further apart. Marcus Kakova, MTN News.
No Kings rallies were held across the state today as well, from Helena, Missoula, and Bozeman to Libby, Glendive, and Havre. Here's a look at just some of the towns who participated in Montana, towns large and small, joining together, voicing their concerns over democracy and the president's administration. In Great Falls, people gathered expressing what they say is an overreach of presidential power.
We are one people in this country, and we should be treated like one people in this country by our president, who is here to serve the entire country, Democrats and Republicans alike.
City, county, state level, I vote Republican. It breaks my heart. It really does, because as Americans, we're better than what we're getting now.
Mother Nature wreaking havoc Friday evening. Several areas saw severe storms, everything from hail to high winds. Check out this video of a roof blowing off in Harlowton last night when the storm smacked into them. It also caused large tree branches and even street signs to fall. Here's a photo of 2-inch hail that fell south of Columbus. With more on if we can expect even more active weather this weekend, we'll send it over to meteorologist Jason Stiff. Jason?
Yeah, more active weather on this Saturday. Not quite as active as yesterday at this time, but it is beginning to increase in its coverage. We have some areas of rain and thunderstorms between Cody and Basin. Also some more pushing over Gillette, Wyoming. But the most active weather is in central Montana. We have our second severe thunderstorm warning of the day, and it's for this cell that is just between Rygate and Columbus, about 20 to 25 miles an hour, miles away from both. It is moving east at 25 miles an hour with gusts of 60 miles an hour possible. $half sized hail also a possibility. More showers and storms between Judith Gap and Lewistown, and we'll have more potential for some strong to severe thunderstorms coming. Our complete 7-day forecast with all the details coming up.
Thanks, Jason. This morning in Laurel, 3 fallen firefighters were honored at the Montana State Firefighters Memorial. About 80 people attended the event under sunny skies, including representatives from multiple fire agencies across the state. Retired Lockwood Fire Chief John Staley was the keynote speaker. The names of the 3 were then unveiled, bringing the total number of fallen firefighters on the memorial to 84. The event ended with the last radio call for the 3. The Montana State Firefighters Memorial was built in 2018 with the goal of honoring firefighters across the state. The memorial event capped off a weekend that included a fun run, street dancing, and fundraiser where supporters raised thousands of dollars to support ongoing maintenance. Turning to coverage of Flathead Lake, Representative Ryan Zinke again wants to use water from Hungry Horse Reservoir to fill the lake this summer. The congressman sent a letter this week to the Interior Secretary urging action on the lake's levels. The move comes as officials make adjustments to keep the lake as close to full pool as possible. Zinke says adjusting inflows from Hungry Horse and reducing flows from the dam won't fill Flathead Lake, but he says it could stabilize the lake and prevent catastrophically low levels for farmers, ranchers, and small businesses. The congressman writes, quote, "I humbly ask you to authorize the release of more water from the Hungry Horse Reservoir and work with the Confederated Salish Kootenai tribes to reduce outflow from the SKQ Dam to ensure viable lake levels for recreation on Flathead Lake during this summer season." Energy Keepers announced an agreement with the Interior Secretary. The deal will result in a 45% reduction in the license required minimum flows from the SKQ Dam. That will mean higher water levels through July, despite previous reports that the lake would not reach full pool. Still ahead on the MTN 5:30 news on Q2, a small town store celebrates a grand opening, turning attention from all ages. And later, a weekend of active weather. Meteorologist Jason Stiff will have a full check of the weekend weather. Stay with us.